Holy crap, there's cars everywhere. So many cars. All right, what is it? Tuesday today? It's Tuesday today. How you guys doing? Everybody's doing good. Uh, having the best camera angles I can tell right now. Just flip this around. So many cars. So many cars. Too many cars. Oh, I was going to show you a gun, but I can't do that. Can't do that. I'm going to sit in my car for a few minutes. So much going on in there, and the air compressor is so loud. What is it with air compressors, man? They are so fucking loud. Unless you spend a lot of money and get really nice ones that are quiet screwdriver ones or something. But, you know, as an auto shop, you don't tend to need that kind of thing. Is that haze from my phone? Let me see. Let me work the little lens off there. Ooh, my shirt. Aaron says, not bad. Matt says, it's a good thing. Oh, all the cars, yeah. Harris B. I don't know what Harris B is, but welcome. So, okay, people showing up. Good. So it's Tuesday, new week, basically. I mean, I worked yesterday. I worked on a few cars. A gentleman brought his 05 STI from Oregon, the west side of Oregon, to come see me. We had tuned it. It was running fucking great. And then he did some autocrosses, and then it wasn't running good anymore. And it showed up, and it was not sounding very healthy. So I pulled the plugs out, look at those, and one side was like fouled and one side was just ugly, you know. But there was definitely a difference from bank to bank, from, you know, 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. So that immediately, hey Nick, that immediately tells you cams, right? What else on that engine is affected, you know, bank to bank? It's an EJ. I should have said that. Subaru EJ 257. Sorry, I was reading a message that popped up. Anyways, so one side was really, really black and one side was not black. And so I was like, something's going on. So I popped the cams off, sure enough, or the timing covers off, sure enough. The intake cam had jumped 1 tooth advanced and the exhaust had gone 1 tooth retarded. Now that's, if you're going to have cams go 1 tooth, that was the worst fucking way for it to happen. That was the worst case scenario from a 1 tooth jump. Obviously, worst case scenario is many teeth jumping. But when you have big cams, like the Kelford D's that this gentleman has, advancing the intake and retarding the exhaust means they become intimate with each other. Hey, James. And I don't know if his actually made contact or not, but the way the engine was running, that was definitely a possibility. And there was an audible difference in compression. When the engine cranked, you could hear that. There was more misfires on that side of the engine. Now it's you know, it's got 1700s in there. It's always a little misfirey anyways. When you're on 17s on low concentrations of ethanol, it just kind of happens. But his was excessive, and on 2 and 4 had way more misfire. So everything really pointed to that side of the engine got hurt when the cams jumped. Now, whether, like I said, whether it was because it jumped and it was still being driven hard and something smoked it, or whether it jumped and valves touched valves, or what, I don't know the answer to that, obviously. So unfortunately, we didn't get to have a whole lot of fun with the car. I just got to mess with it, see what's going on. I noticed also that before, when it had, you know, a couple percent trims at idle, now it was like 18%. So the car had at a minimum a 15% swing in ingested air into the engine. So now the VE, instead of being 55 at idle, which is a very, very common, you know, average number for people to have, the thing was down in the 40s, like 42 or something. So almost a 15% change. And actually, that's more than that if you look at it as a quantity. So, yeah, something was wrong with it. And unfortunately, that was how yesterday went. I got turn wrenches. I don't usually do that. I don't really enjoy turning wrenches, but it's part of troubleshooting, so I got to do that. So that was tough. I felt bad for the guy, but maybe we'll get to take it apart and find out what's wrong and make it better than it was before. I think it had room to improve before anyway, so hopefully that works out. I'm gonna read these comments real quick. I'm gonna get back to them since they started pouring in really fast all of a sudden. Keep me to send you an email about the 8474 Black and how it differs from the 8474. That's the same turbo. That's the same turbo. The 8374 is a different turbo, and the 8474 is the black. There's not a middle ground there. So the 8474 is the black, 8374 is the regular one. The 8474, which is again the black, makes a butt whack more horsepower than the 8374 does, and I think it's like 150 pounds per minute or something stupid like that. It's a big difference. If I thought of building an air water intercooler intake manifold and build using stock type TGV design, I don't understand what you're asking me there. I don't know what build use stock type TGV design means. But have I thought about putting an air water intercooler in the manifold? I have. The issue is that with the cylinder timing on these things, if you put a pressure drop bank to bank on there, you're fucking up the timing. That's why I do not like the AMS intake manifold, even though it makes power, right? It makes power, but you sacrifice a lot for that thing to make power. And the mothership or whatever, basically what they've done with that is they've done completely away with any intake tuning or resonance tuning or any of that. And they've gone to just making the port as gigantic as possible to get air in there. And while it works for strictly top end power, it doesn't work for everything. It doesn't work for the whole broad power band. If the cylinder timing was different, like say 2 and 4 were 360 degrees out of phase, then it would work fine, because then your pulses always be the same distance apart, right, as they came into that plenum. But instead, they're not. They're the cylinder, the firing order is 1, 3, 2, 4. So every 180 degrees, you have one. So you get cylinder 2, for example, would fire. 180 degrees later, cylinder 4 fires, and then you have another 360 degrees until 2 fires again. So nothing happens. So the pulses in the plenum are not balanced. You get this bump, 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 like that. And with that, that means that cylinder 2 or cylinder 4 are under very different conditions when their induction cycle happens. And so for that reason, I don't like the manifolds that separate 2 and 4 from the rest of the engine. It's not 2 two-cylinder engines. If it is, it's 2 odd fire engines. And if you don't know what an odd fire engine is, look it up. They're not fucking great. There's lots of problems with them. So yeah, no, I would never do that, because that would mean I would have to isolate the banks from each other, and that won't happen. I would do it with 1 and 2, and then with 3 and 4, but in order to make an intercooler that worked to feed those cylinders, and those cylinders have to be very long runners up to something, it just balance-wise doesn't work. So no, I wouldn't do that. But I am putting in top mount intercooler position, and a air water intercooler that flows as much as with less pressure drop and provides just as much cooling as a front mount. Well, I think that's hard to beat. I think testing will show that. So anyways, what I'm doing here, I just got the Garrett core today. I purchased the Mishimoto core before the Garrett core was out of stock. I didn't want to use the fucking Mishi core because I don't like Mishimoto. But I was like, you know what? It's the exact same dimensions, like literally 11.7, 3.8, like the exact. Maybe Mishi actually bought the Garrett core and put their name on it, and I'm going to get a Garrett core out of that. I thought that'd be pretty cool. So I bought it. I looked at it and like, yeah, it's an okay looking core, but it doesn't look like a Garrett core. And then the Garrett core showed up today, and sure enough, it is not the same core. The Garrett core is a pretty nice piece there for sure. And so I will give you guys a comparison of those. Strictly a comparison in the this is what you can see, by looking at it type of thing. Obviously, I can't put them to the test yet, as the rest of the intercooler is not designed Well, it's not made. It is designed. It's not made yet. Now I see viewership falling off really fast. Just curious if my stream quality is bad, if I'm too far from the Wi-Fi or what. Then I can definitely get closer to the Wi-Fi. If you feel like explaining when you're busy, sorry, I didn't press send yet. Okay. Hi Dom, what's up, dude? Chase mentioned it differently. Maybe I'm okay. Make the air, water, intercooler part of the intake manifold. Yeah, I got that part. There's some difference. There's some manifolds that exist where there's an array, but ECU housing would be. Yeah, that's like the mothership thing. I don't like it, not at all, for the reasons I already described. I have the hub adapter designed, Jason, and I gave it to my machinist to quote. He has not finished quoting it. He had some shit happen last week, and he was not able to do it. He called me yesterday, apologizing up and down, because I gave him 4 jobs at once to quote. So he's got some time on his hands. I gave him 4 jobs to quote, so he hasn't been able to do it, and he was very apologetic yesterday when he called me. So, good here. Okay, good. Glad. Doesn't bother me much for listening while I'm tearing cars apart, I assume. Hey, Dom, it's Ross. Did you catch the message with the 4-cylinder mod haters? Yes, I did. Yeah, you're going to have those regardless. When you sell... What have I sold now? Fuck. I've sold over $1 million in cooling mods. Now that's sales. That does not fucking profit by any means, right? Because profit margin is a fraction of what you sell in parts, right? But most of them wholesale. So I've sold like $1 million in cooling mods wholesale, right? And so I offer the dealers like 30% off retail, so they can actually get margin and sell things, right? So, which means my margin is very little, but I've moved a lot, and that means, you know, tens of thousands of these things are out there. So if you have that many out there, like there's going to be people that are going to argue, there's people that are going to hate, there's going to be people that are going to bitch about it. You're just going to get that, and the world is full of ignorant pieces of shit. So you're going to experience a lot of it. You're going to every wannabe dumbass on the internet is like, oh, well, if you don't know where the water's going, then what's the point of this? Like, do you really think I'd fucking design something and not know where the fucking water goes? The fuck, you idiots. Like, well, if it doesn't go back to this one place, like, you don't even know how it fucking works. Shut the hell up. You know, like, what the fuck? No, I put a Bluetooth adapter on the back of the head and it just Bluetooths the heat right out of the fucking head. Like, what the fuck, you morons? So, like, Twitter is the most toxic place in the entire fucking universe. Like I said before, the mountains of Wyoming where they store the nuclear radioactive waste is less toxic than fucking Twitter, okay? And then behind that is Facebook. Facebook is absolutely number 2 most toxic place in the world. I can't go on either of them without feeling bad for humanity. Like, if I go on Twitter for 5 minutes, 5 minutes, all it takes. It might even take 30 seconds. Sometimes my email, I get an update from Twitter, like, oh, here's a fucking Twitter feed. And the comment I read, I'm just like, reading like, oh my God. Oh God, it's no wonder Bill Gates is trying to castrate everybody. It's no wonder the rich are trying to kill us. Holy shit. So stupid. The stuff that you read on that website is just mind-numbingly asinine. And all it does is just prove to the aliens watching over us, shaking their heads, that we are just fucking cretins, and it's absolutely disturbing. So don't go on Twitter. If you want to maintain faith in humanity, the best way to do that is to isolate yourself from it. That's been my motto for a long time, because holy shit is it bad. So you're going to get that stuff. No matter where you go, you're going to get guys that are like, I hate water. Water is responsible for more drownings than Gatorade. You should drink Gatorade. Like, you're going to get those kind of dumbasses. And, you know, yes, some of them are trolls, but most of them are absolutely fucking retarded. How different is RCM dry sump system from what you are designing? Completely different. Nobody in the world has a dry sump system like I am designing. Nobody is using as efficient of a gear. Nobody is using the level of technology. Nobody. And that's why it's taking so long. So yeah, it's totally different. I don't know if there's any similarities, honestly. right? It's what plants crave. Electrolytes, it's what plants crave. Yeah, it's bad. So, yeah, you're gonna have guys all the time that sit there and say, "Oh, the fucking the water goes into the engine and makes it hotter in areas and stuff." Like, yeah, no shit, dumbass. That's how it fucking works. That's the point, you know. Can you make some bushings better than group N bushings? All the poly ones are ass and super pro. Oh no, I know. My short answer is no. The group N's fucking great. What do you need better than group N? So, uh, the biggest issue that people don't realize is the transmission is just floppy back there. Okay, it just flops around behind the engine. Okay, you don't need this crazy stiff pitch stop. You don't need that shit. All that does is turn your firewall into a gigantic speaker and broadcast every engine noise, every tick, every rattle, every impact, everything into this freaking flexible membrane that's your firewall that flexes really easily, right? Thus all the cracks and shit, right? And just turns the whole thing into a speaker. So you take this rod from the motor and to a diaphragm, and you literally have a speaker. That's how a speaker is made, right? So here's this gigantic speaker from your engine to your ears at your firewall, and you don't need that shit, right? Group N, pitch stop, money, enjoy that. Enjoy the silence that you would get associated with that. You want to keep the engine still, you want to do a better job holding it still and have it be so floppy, get the TSS Fab transmission mount and a Group N training mount. That's it. That's all you need. Group N engine mounts, TSS Fab trans mount, and the Group N training mount. Group N pitch stop, you're good to go. You don't need anything else. You don't need to listen to everything vibrate your fucking balls and your toes while you're driving, with every injector click being broadcast into the cabin of your car like a loudspeaker. You know, hello, these are your injectors speaking. We're putting fuel in the engine. Okay, now we're not. Okay, now we're putting fuel in the engine again. Can you hear me? Hey, you in the car. We're putting fuel in the engine. Yes. Yeah, that's us. Yep. We're the ones going click, 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 click. That's us over here. Yeah, fuck that, right? You don't need that shit. You don't need that. Fucking Group N, pitch stop, call it good. But the TSS transmission mount is, or transmission crossmember, whatever you want to call it, with the Group N mount is the way to go. It gets rid of all of the floppiness and movement. Like a lot of guys will go, "Oh, I got the white line bushings in the thing." Like, it doesn't work. It's this weird like cantilevered system where like one side is pulley and one side's pushy and everything bends and flexes. You don't need that. And you don't need to have Cusco engine mounts where every combustion event is just a reminder to your hands on your steering wheel that you made a really poor choice. You know, when they say NVH and you just say, "Oh yeah, I want NVH cube, baby. Give me all the NVHs." Oh yeah, the whole car's vibrating. It's so good. Fuck that. No. Group N mount, TSS Fab training cross member, all Group N bushings. You're good to go. That shit won't move. You'll push the clutch in during the shift and you're like, oh yeah, nothing's moving around in there. There's no floppy floppies. It's good. What else about that? I don't know. Let me check the comments again really quick since it's been going so far. La 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 la. Oh my god. Okay, you can see it's got what cars need. That's right, electrolytes. The copycats too. They also need electrolytes. I was just worried they stopped making them. I mean, I suppose it's a possibility, but Group N is like one of the controlled products for rallies. So I think as long as rally cars are in existence, they're not going to stop making them. And also, it isn't like you need new ones every year or anything. So I would say you're probably in good shape. TIC has a trans mount now. I think someone sent me a picture of that. I don't know. I don't know if it's any good or not. I won't be buying one. As much as, you know, I love the guys at TIC, for some reason, they haven't purchased a single cooling mod, and they've argued the efficacy of some of my products in the past. and that kind of stuff. So our separation wasn't that great. I wish it was better. I thought it was like amicable and stuff, and then when I left, it was like shit talking me started immediately, and honestly, it broke my heart. I was really upset. Um, I was in the hotel room driving away, like I just left. I think it was like the day after, and people like show me like screenshots of them talking shit about me, and it fucking broke my heart. Not gonna lie, I was super bummed, because I thought these guys were my friends, and it was, it was just mean. It was mean stuff that they said, and yeah, man, it definitely got to me. That sucked. It was hard. It was a hard lesson, let me tell you. So I won't be buying one. I think one of my friends bought one, and I won't tell him not to. But if they're not going to support me, I'm not going to support them. So just kind of goes that way. Not anymore, Matt. They fucking ripped right out of my chest and stomped on it. It was fucking rough. RCM dry sump system is made by Auto Verdi, Swedish manufacturer of oil pumps. Useless fact of the stream. Okay. I'll look into it again, I guess. Have I worked at Beeline talking about oil cooler? Yes. I mean, if you want to use theirs, go for it. Or you just have us make one like we did for Josh and other people. So, I would use the group ends. Up to about, I don't know, all of it. You won't need anything stronger. I have the group end combustion transmount. I don't have that one. I haven't seen that one. I referred to E2 fit out being weak. I never said that. No, I definitely did not say that 255 is weak compared to 257. That would never be said because they're the same fucking thing. So I don't know who told you I said that or if you misunderstood, but they're the same. The only difference between them is the head castings and the pistons. That's it. It's the same block, it's the same crank, it's the same rods, same piston materials. The 255 just has a 2 cc larger dish. It's got a shittier combustion chamber because it's a little too compact. The valves are a smidge shrouded. It's a hemispherical design instead of a pent roof. Well, it's like a hemi-pent roof, semi-roof, semi-pent. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I forget what to call it. But valve locations are exactly the same. The cams are the same profile. The springs are the same. The buckets are the same. It's the same thing. I would never have called it weak compared to the 57. That makes no sense. Shit, even the turbo flow is the same. From 08 or 09 WRX and up. It's the same flow rate, the same center cartridge on the turbo, same wheels and everything, just different housings. So yeah, I would never say that. It's got a shitty intercooler. I like the manifold, the black manifold. It's better for a wider power band than the STI one. Not as good for his peak horsepower as the STI one, but that kind of thing. They hate us because they ain't us. Wait. The heinous anus? I don't know. People say anything about 600, they're not strong enough. What does that mean? What does not strong enough mean? They're retained by steel. They have steel bars that retain and stop and limit travel. So what's happening? I mean, if you got a 6-puck clutch and you shift like an asshole, then maybe they're not strong enough. But I think what a lot of people miss is something that's very important. There has to be compliance somewhere. There has to be compliance somewhere. Somewhere in the system, there has to be compliance. Now, I'm saying that 3 times, so I'll make that fucking clear, right? Something has to give, or you concentrate stresses in areas that lead to cracking and breakage. There has to be compliance somewhere. Your shifting mechanism, we've talked about that before, there has to be some compliance somewhere. Okay? Your suspension, there has to be some compliance somewhere. The mounts, there has to be some compliance somewhere. If they're too hard, like someone uses poly, yeah, they won't handle it. They'll just strip out because poly is a terrible fucking product for motor mounts. It's way too, it's too rigid. Honestly, it's too rigid. It shears, it tears easy. It doesn't have enough give, right? It's not compliant enough. There has to be compliance somewhere. And so The bushings, like the group ends, they're made for cars that get airborne. There's a lot of force in something that gets airborne. So I don't know why they would say they're not strong enough. Now, are they shifting like idiots and they're concentrating all the forces in that one compliant zone and maybe causing problems? Possibly. That could be. Do they not have other stuff supported well enough that it's concentrating force on that mount because they don't have this other thing tied down or something else braced properly or whatever? Possible. But I mean, you know, and a lot of those engines have 500 and plus foot-pounds of torque. Shit, a rally, actual Vermont rally car engine, right? Vermont sports car rally engine makes 500 and plus foot-pounds of torque to the wheels on a 2-liter. Okay, like, and that's at like 2,500 RPM. So not strong enough. Like, you're not getting that. It's 600. 600 is not even a number. Like, that's horsepower. That means nothing, right? 600 means nothing. Horsepower doesn't mean shit. I think that's important for people to understand. When you're talking about fatigue strength of products, horsepower means fucking nothing. Horsepower is not a force. Horsepower is not a force. Torque is a force. Cylinder pressure, that's a force. I mean, it's PSI, pounds per square inch. And then you take the numbers of square inches of the piston times the pounds, and you have force. Yeah, you have foot-pounds. So, or just pounds. Nick used harder mounts on his build, didn't he? Harder than what? I don't know. I don't know what he used. I don't really care, honestly. He used what he wants. I would never recommend anything other than the group ends. I'm pretty sure it's all he used. Nick says, I'm pretty sure I got my STI airborne on this one particular stretch of road. I've done that. Yeah. So glad I brought bushings up so people learn this. At first I thought you said you bought them up. Like, you bought all of them up. You're like, fuck you guys, I'm buying all the bushings, you know, just so you motherfuckers can learn what it's like. I thought that's what I read that initially as it popped into the feed the first time. So I'm glad I reread that. You know, I thought, like, you sadistic bastard. That's pretty funny. What's your opinion of the group end strut top mounts for a street car? Yeah, I know you're not Shopnik, because Shopnik doesn't have an STI. Group end strut top mounts for a street car. Oh, maybe Matt doesn't know you're not Shopnik. That's possible. Yeah. I have on my car. I think that should answer the question then, right? Yeah, I have on my car. I have them on my rallycross car too, with the teen or tine or tane or tane or whatever the fuck they are, green gravel struts, which are awesome. Their gravel struts are really neat. It's just a strut, right? I mean, with a strut, you get plenty of wheel travel, and like a coilover, which says wheel travel. What's that? I don't know. Just no, we don't need that. Just bounce on stuff. But the struts have, you know, the full range of travel on them, and they're really cool. I can take the thing off a curb sideways and not even feel it. Like, it just, boop, boop. We did over here, actually. I was bombing through the gravel right here, and I saw the road coming. I just threw it sideways, and we just went across the sidewalk from the gravel pit across the sidewalk into the street. And it was like, bloop. That was it. It was nothing. It was sweet. Those things rock. And then when Matt Van Kirk and I, we went out to Illinois to get the car, and we drove it back in the middle of summer with no AC and a bad radiator fan, and car overheating all the time, so the heater was on, so it balls off in traffic in Chicago. Lots of fun. I don't recommend it. But we took we got into Idaho, Lookout Pass is there, and you can take Lookout Pass and hit a gravel logging road on the back side of it, on the north side of it, I should say, all the way down to Wolf Lodge, where I used to live, through Blue Creek and a bunch of areas. then jump back on the freeway again. So, I mean, we've been traveling, we're dying, we're hot, we're miserable, we're exhausted. And then I said, hey, dude, I'll hit this road on the way in. He's like, whatever. So we hit this road. And now Van Kirk's a drifter, right? He spends his entire life sideways all the time as a drifter. But we're on gravel in an all-wheel drive car. And I had that thing completely sideways going around corners. And he was like, how are you doing this? Which I thought was hilarious for a drifter to ask me how I'm doing it. So I had to explain, the difference in drifting a drift car versus on a rally car, and how you lift and how you displace mass to accelerate and everything else. So and help you turn. So that was a good time. Teaching them how to drive on the dirt in a rally car versus in a drift car on the street. And I remember Van Kirk won FD Atlanta and got like second in Orlando, and I think he got second or third in Long Beach, right? So he's not just some dude who's like, oh, I'm a drifter, right? Like he's a successful drifter. And I was teaching him how to rally a car, so that was pretty funny. Reminds me of a time back when I liked Corey Keyser. He was part of our team, and we were doing stuff with him. And I said, hey, we're doing a track day. Bring your drift car to the track day, and we'll work on some other fundamental mechanics of racing and handling and that kind of stuff. And then you can, apply some of that to drifting. So we went out there, and he had never done grip racing before, right? It was always slip racing. And so we went out there with his S13 and my RS and a couple other cars. And we hit the track in my RS, and we were bombing on the ridge, just a few spots. And he was like, holy shit. He was like, I didn't know cars could do this. And he was like, and I know that you knew how to do this. Because we were fucking just tearing ass through the ridge. It was a good time. That was also when Dave sealed my... Here in the pits, I had a little water seep down in my overflow bottle. So instead, he sealed it up. And when he sealed it up so damn good that it overpressurized the whole car when the temperature went up, that I would get on the front stretch and I'd punch it. And I had an OEM radiator, and the radiator intakes would lift off the core and shoot steam out the sides and out my vents on my hood. That was pretty funny. I was wah, wah. And I looked down and I go, what is that? I let off and it goes away. I was like, huh, maybe it's nothing. Get on it again. Psh, steam. I let off. Goes away. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. A little lifty. And then we get in the pits, and he had totally sealed it in a bottle. Because I had an aluminum one. It wasn't even a plastic overflow can. It was aluminum. And it was just completely sealed tight. I had to pull the thing out of it, and pressure came out. I was like, God damn it. So shouldn't have sealed that. That was a mistake. Yeah, anyways, I don't remember why I even got into that. Just some flashing down memory lane, I guess. Oh, the gravel struts. That's what it was. My bad. Someone asked my thing with Scott. So, Scott, I don't know if you guys know about the Scott thing. This guy emailed me the day after I had my surgery on my arm, wanted to tune. And I was like, hey, man, I just had surgery on my arm. I had open bicep surgery, right? They cut both sides, they open up, they look inside your arm and move everything out of the way, find a tendon. They use a chisel, and they chisel away at the bone and roughen the bone up with this chisel. And I asked, why a chisel? Why not sandpaper or something? They said, because sandpaper and stuff is abrasive, and you don't want to heat the bone when you're doing it. You don't want to seal off the pores, right? You're trying to roughen the bone without sealing it up. I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. So he said, no sandpaper, no grinders, and that they use a chisel, and they chip away the bone, and chip it up away, and get it all rough. And they take my tendon, and they slice a clean, fresh piece off it, like at a deli meat counter, right? To get a fresh piece of tendon right there. And then they drill 4 holes in my bone, and they run parachute cord, literally parachute cord, through the bone, around the tendon in what they call a clasping stitch. And it goes into it, over and around it, and through this really complex way, so that it tensions and grabs it and squeezes it really tight. Back into the bone again, back up again, back down again. They tie off these knots on the bottom. And so they tie the tendon, the freshly cut tendon on the freshly chewed up bone, down. And throw some chicken bones in there, say a couple Hail Marys, sew your shit up, and say, hopefully that sticks. And so I just had that done, right? I mean, it's not a huge surgery, but it ain't a small one either. And I was like, hey man, I just had surgery on my arm. I can't tune your car. I'm in some pain. I got recovery ahead of me. I can't strap a car on the dyno one-handed. I can't use the fucking laptop one hand. My arm's strapped to my chest. Like I can't tune a car. My bad. Can't do it. Contact me in a couple months. So a couple months goes by. Turns out he went to Fish, I think, to have it done. And he contacts me again because he's doing some stage 2 stuff. And I was like, I'm 3 to 4 weeks booked out. So, you know, if you're cool with that, we'll get you on the schedule. He's like, oh, that's perfect. I want to get some other stuff done at Tier 1. I'll call them up and we'll do it in 3 to 4 weeks. I'm like, sweet, that sounds great. And then I didn't hear from the guy again until September 26th, when I was on vacation. I get an email from the guy. Now, my emails are piling up. I'm on fucking vacation. But apparently he sends me one, and he wants to get he wants to get a flex fuel tune now on his car. And I was down to about 4 emails left from when I was on vacation I had to answer. His was one of them. His honestly wasn't a priority at the time because I'm really, really booked out right now because I took vacation, right? So it was one of the later ones I was going to answer as I was working through my chain. And I had 4 emails left. And I'm sitting at my desk working on that stuff. And then Chase sends me a message. Hey, do you know a Scott Buscemi or something? And I'm like, no, why? He's like, well, he just left a really bad review for us on Google. And it's about you. And I laughed. I was like, well, GetaDomTune's not Tier 1 or vice versa. So that's interesting. So let me read it. And he read it, and Chase goes, I think the guy's drunk. Like the message he left, it sounds like it's written by somebody who's drunk. It called me, I don't know. It was a very redundant, poorly grammatical freaking review. And he was like, I'm just going to report to Google because, you know, you're not us. And this guy clearly has got some issues with something. So I reported, and I guess Google pulled it. So I look in, I check my email, and like last I knew, he was asking me for a tune. So, and he had good parts. Like I wouldn't have said no to the tune. I just hadn't got to that email yet because I have a lot of fucking emails. And so I send the guy an email back like, hey, I just saw that those report a scathing or nasty review on Tier 1 for me. I don't know what that's about because we haven't really talked and had any issues. Leaving a review for them is probably not going to get the result you want because they're not me. I don't know. I said just a few things like that. I'm sorry that you had a problem. I take it you don't need me to schedule you in for a tune or anything. And then I get like 6 emails, like 1 sentence each in a row. You're a fucking pussy bitch. Fuck you, you old man. You was just fucking jerk people off. Isaac from Idaho said you're a diva bitch. He was fucking right. You're lucky I'm a nice guy. Name the place and time and we'll fucking handle this. And just all this shit. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this dude's. And so my response was just, he didn't call me grandpa yet. He just called me old man. So my response was just, are you drunk or high? Because I wasn't sure. I knew it was something. He was obviously either impaired physically or mentally, one or the other. And he was just like, fuck you, old man. And then again, I mean, grandpa. And so at this point, I'm like, all right, well, this dude's beyond logic, right? Yeah, you're lucky I'm a nice guy, he said. Let's fight. I'm like, this guy's obviously way outside the bounds of logic. At this point, I'm going to fucking call him on it. Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's fight, you know? So I threw some jokes in there too. So he's like, grandpa. And I go, well, I'm not a grandpa yet. My daughter's 18, no kids. I'll be a grandpa someday. I was like, is that supposed to be an insult? Are you like 17? Fuck you, old man. Blah, blah, blah. And so, and then finally I was like, okay, dude, tomorrow at noon. I said, I'm on the dyno all day. Tomorrow at noon, come to Tier 1. We'll fight. And then Ron says, what, you need backup? I was like, no, I don't need backup, but I have an appointment. I have a tune. I'll be on the dyno all day. I'll take a break at noon. I'll give you 5 minutes of my time. We'll fight in the parking lot. and I'll go back to work. I was like, Washington, it's legal. I was like, Washington is a dueling state. You can come to Washington. We can fight. It's totally fucking legal as long as we both agree to it. I was like, I suggest you look the rules up though, because Washington does have rules on dueling. So you don't do something legal and find yourself in jail. Otherwise, I'll see you at noon. And then he started to kind of backpedal a little bit without saying, well, no, but like, it just started to backpedal a smidge. And I'm like, no, dude, you wanted my attention. You have my attention. Come over. You think you're the first one to fucking threaten me? You think you're the first person that I've had to take care of because they've threatened me? You're not. So come on over. Let's do this. And then he all of a sudden he was just like, lighten up, Grandpa. And that's when I said, I'm trying, but I weighed in at 224 this morning. This diet isn't working. You coming or what? And from that point on, it was complete withdrawal. Now, I don't know if it's because I said I was 224 and he's a small person or a big person or what. I have no idea what it was, or did I just call him on the bluff or what? But all of a sudden, it was this big withdrawal thing. Then it was just like, he's like, well, why do you care what people think? That was like the next email. I was like, okay, we can go down this road if you want. So I was like, I don't care what you think. I just emailed to figure out why you were so upset. And then you sit there telling me you're a nice guy. Well, clearly not being a nice guy and threatening me and blah, blah. I said, and then you said name, time, and place. So I did. And I'll be waiting for you. I said, well, you might even get some people to show up and watch the fight. And then I said, and Chase has a wrestling ring. I can have him set up. We can make an event out of it. I was like, come by at noon. I'll give you 5 minutes of my time. I was like, we can fight because I didn't answer your email. Seems excessive to me, but sounds kind of exciting. Come on out. And the guy never showed up. But I was excited yesterday. I was so excited. I know it sounds bad. I was excited. Every time I carpool, I jumped up. I was like, is that the guy? And everyone's like, no, it's not him. I'm like, all right, damn it. And then this guy came in the shop. The guy came in the shop just a little afternoon, and he looked like he'd be about the right age for this guy. And he walks in the shop, and I go, are you Scott? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, have a nice day. I was so ready. And everybody kept going, oh, here's a car. I'm like, is it a Subaru? No, it's not a Subaru. Damn it. I was excited. But it never happened. And no emails either yet. No responses since my last one and everything else. So I don't know if the guy just came to his senses and, or he's just hungover or if he had a bad day. I mean, he clearly had a couple bad days or what. I honestly don't know. But I did call Isaac. Isaac didn't answer. And at first I was mad. I was like, you fucking pussy, But they called him back and we talked for a while and he started giving me the lowdown. He's like, yeah, dude, this guy's like 50. I'm pretty sure he's older than you are. And I'm like, why is this guy calling me grandpa when he's older than me? Like, I don't understand. Mutual combat. Dueling involves, okay, sure, whatever. Thank you. Mutual combat. Okay, so mutual combat state. Well, I mean, I got these, baby. These are weapons. What was I saying? Yeah, he's calling me. He's like older than I am, calling me grandpa. So like that doesn't make sense. And then Isaac was telling me about the customer, some of the issues that the guy had, and that was. And then I felt bad for the guy. Honestly, I felt bad for the guy after what Isaac told me about the issues that the guy had, and things like that. So I felt bad for the dude. I'm like, well, now he shows up, like I have to kick his ass, but I'm gonna feel bad doing it. I don't know what to do. So he didn't show up. I'm glad he didn't show up, and I'm not glad he didn't show up. I'm both. I'm glad that I don't have to worry about, potential legal ramifications by getting in a fight with some dude, even though it's legal. But they can go civil if he fucking gets hurt too bad or something, or falls and hits his head and then sues me because who knows how that could go. So I'm glad that's not there. But I do kind of wish I could have gotten a fight. I haven't done that in such a long time. Heart attack at 50. Me or him? I mean, maybe me. If you see my schedule right now. In fact, the time I spent this 45 minutes this here, it gives me anxiety because I have so much to do. But these cars aren't ready for me yet. So, anyway, so Isaac and I talked about it. He admitted to some shit. I admitted to some shit. But overall, we don't have any hard feelings. It's just, creative wording sometimes. Example. We've been hearing a lot that I'm booked 3 months in advance, and that I won't tune your car. I don't want to tune your car or whatever. And honestly, in some cases, that's true. I don't want to tune your car. I don't know. You know, so if it's bad enough, I don't want to do it. But I want to do fun shit. I want to do fun shit. I want to do standalones. I want to do factory shit too. But I want to do fun stuff. I don't want to do boring stage 2 stuff that much anymore. It's just not really nothing I enjoy. You know, it's like you can only race go karts around the track at 6 horsepower for so long before you're just bored out of your mind. That's how stage 2 is for me. It's boring as shit. See, I don't want to do stage 2 cars. I just don't want it. That doesn't mean I won't, right? It just means that the bigger cars will get precedence. You know, the bigger, cooler builds will get priority. Sorry, but that's what it is, right? I want to have a good time in my daily life. That's why I'm doing this in the first place. That's why I turn down big money to do normal jobs, because I want to have fun, you know, and not just grind all day long. So, these rumors been going around that I'm booked 3 months in advance, and we get people that show up and be like, "Oh yeah, I need to do these mods, but I can take it to so and so to get tuned." And Chase like, "Why not have Dom tune it?" "Oh well, I heard he's booked 3 months in advance." No, it's usually 3 weeks, not 3 months. So some of that was stemming from things that Isaac said, and also other competitors have been spreading. They've been going to meets and saying, "Oh well, he's just booked really really far. You should have me tune your car." And so if you word things in a certain way, you can make it seem like, or if you don't deny, if they go, "Oh, here's I booked like 3 months," and you're like, "Oh yeah, something like that," right? So Isaac was a little guilty. He knows it. He told me, you know, and I told him that people email me with crazy builds and say, and I tell him I can't help him out, and he's like, "Well, who'd you recommend?" And I'm like, "Nobody," and I didn't recommend Isaac for that. I told him, and then there were other builds that I do recommend him for. Like I sent people Isaac like a couple times a week at least. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, I can't get you in soon enough. You should go to Isaac. Or your car's boring as shit. You should go to Isaac. Things like that. So I push stuff to Isaac all the time. And I mean, he should be glad that I do. But alternatively, it sounded like he was trying to pull stuff for me, which wasn't nearly as cool, but I get it. And, you know, if it's a stage 2 thing, then great, do it. Because I want the big stuff. I like the big fun stuff. I like the actual challenges, and all of that. So in the end, we talked about it. We good. There wasn't bad blood. It was just, you know, creative wording that, or lack of denial, you know, when someone says, "I heard it was like 3 months," like, "Oh yeah, something like that," right? When he could have said, no. Like, we're both booked up, you know, a few weeks in advance, but not months. He could have said that, but he didn't. And you know, it's not talking shit. It's just not squashing shit. You know what I mean? And so it's a strategic play, and I get it. So no hard feelings there, and no beef with Isaac. He's not afraid to call and talk, which is good, better than a lot of other people. If I find tuners are talking trash, I almost always call them up, especially in the old days. I made a lot of phone calls and hashed out a lot of shit with tuners that were talking trash, and just called them like, "Hey man, fuck you." I think that's how Junior and I actually got our shit worked out, is I literally just said, "Hey man, fuck you. What the fuck's your problem?" And he was like, "Excuse me?" And then we actually started talking. And then in the end, he was like, "All right, this guy ain't so bad," you know. And now I consider Junior a friend. So yeah, my brother from a different mother kind of thing. So it's funny how the internet can let people feel big and tough or shielded from things, and when you get approached by the person directly, or get your bluff called or whatever it may be, you can develop respect for somebody, but also actually learn who the person is. You know, it's a lot different to read posts, because you can't judge tone. And I could read a sentence in one voice in my head or another voice in my head, and it'll sound totally different. It can go from condescending to helpful, just in the tone. And it's hard to portray tone in a message. And since I'm so flat in the way I write, I'm so direct in how I write, it often comes off as condescending, but in almost all situations, I promise you it isn't. I'm trying to be helpful, but direct, because if I say things just slightly off, then the wrong impression is, or the wrong answer can be perceived. And so I have to just be straight and direct. Plus, I have to write engineering documents sometimes, right? You have an interesting customer, laugh my ass off. I do. My favorite movie quotes: "You do not ever truly know someone until you fight them." Yeah, I mean, it could be physical, or it could be mental, or it could be some other kind of thing. But I think you have to be in person, because internet battles aren't the same. They're not real, and that kind of thing. And it's when you cross that boundary and say, let's make it real, that the true character comes out sometimes. Like, oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not. I was just using big words. So that kind of thing. Hey, my tune's ready. All right, I see my tune there, so I'm gonna get ready to go do that. My friend's mom said, don't marry someone until they cheat on you. That was what she said. And I thought that was interesting. And I thought she was fucking crazy. Because, there's the expression, once a cheater, always a cheater kind of thing. People think that kind of stuff. But there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that, because it isn't just the act, that you get through. It's about how you guys handle that as a team or not. And that is a true way of learning about your relationship, and the strength of that relationship. So it's pretty interesting that she said that. And there's a little bit of truth to that. Now, obviously, if it was like, 4 guys at a party running the train kind of thing, then you're probably not going to hang out with that. Not going to hang on. But, if it was, something else, it's hard to say. But that was what my friend's mom said to me. And through all of my life experiences, I believe there's some truth to that. Because it gives you an opportunity to see somebody in a unique way and see how they handle it, and see if they have actual legitimate guilt and remorse, and if they're able to learn from shit. And it really puts a relationship, a strain on it, but determines like what's really important in it and not. It was interesting that she said that, and then that happened, and in the past, and it's definitely opened my eyes to things like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of expressions like that hold a lot of truth and validity to them. They're loading the car up on the dyno. I hear it. I hear that clutch being burned to shit right now. Just kidding. I'm not doing that bad of a job. I'm a dad. You guys know that, right? I'm a dad. My daughter's 18. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see her a whole lot her whole life. Her mom and I don't see eye to eye, and her stepdad and her mom worked together to keep her from me for a lot of years. And that was why I went to Cincinnati to work for TIC, was actually to see my kid. So there's been a period of her life where I have not been there, other than through cards and things like that. But now that she's 18 and has her own phone, and she's not, under her parents' control anymore, I get more access to her. And she has gone through some recent things now that she's in college. Some events that are not, chances to learn. Let's put it that way. Obviously, I don't want to really go too much about it, but, I just want to share with you guys a few things. And I was talking to some friends of mine about the situation at hand, and sharing some knowledge about experience in relationships and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things I told her was that she shouldn't feel guilty, for talking to people. She's got a boyfriend. She can talk to whoever the fuck she wants, right? She shouldn't feel guilty about that. But she was feeling kind of trapped and guilty for even having communications with people of the opposite sex and that kind of stuff. And I didn't want her to feel bad about that. So I was expressing to her that, she shouldn't feel bad about that. And one of the things that I said, as we moved on to talk about some sex stuff and all that kind of thing, I was like, you shouldn't feel guilty about wanting to use your vagina. And my friends were laughing their asses off about it, because they have daughters. And I could never say it to my kid, but You're so cool. I was like, yeah, I mean, you're still a human, right? You're still a human. So I hope that she can. I hope that she can be human and not be solely just a member of a programmed group, you know, and that kind of stuff. So she's a smart kid. She got a full ride to Yale. I'm so proud of her. She got a full ride to Yale. She didn't go, but they gave her a full ride. I say full, but it's $75,000 a year, which is essentially a full ride. Yeah, she got $75,000 a year to go to school at Yale, and she said no. It's my girl, right? Because I said the same thing. Fuck you guys. She went to a place in Kentucky instead. Place in Kentucky. Did not get a full ride to Kentucky. So her mom and I are sharing some college expenses. Well, not this semester. Her mom covered all this semester, but I'll help more next semester for sure. Yeah. So some personal stuff on there. I got a kid. She's 18. She's in college. She's super smart, and she's going through some lessons right now. And I'm excited for her to learn these lessons, because she was just, you know, living in the country in Kentucky, a little sheltered, you know, and I'm excited for her to get, you know, into the world a bit more and be around more groups of people, more types of people. So it's really exciting. Hopefully she'll be as wise as her old man or whatever. Biology. She's majoring in biology. I think she wants to be a veterinarian, not a veteran, veterinarian, not a veteran, a veterinarian. And she likes animals, and she rides horses. She races horses. She's a little pipsqueak though. She's like 5'2", 5'2" and curvy like the ASEA side. Yeah, she's really smart though. So I'm really happy. Anyways, this car's about ready, so I should probably go tune that thing. It's on the dyno now. This car that I have to tune is a just an FA, nothing fancy. It's got a built motor in it though, because the owner's a female. She has goals of making many horsepowers in the future. So right now it's stock turbo. It's got external gates on it, a header, forged rods and pistons, and you know, exhaust and stuff. That's about it. Apparently she's got to get it ready for the photo shoot. I don't know. She's wiping the front of it off before the tune, but okay. Hey, Kylie, what you doing? Yeah? The bugs? Is that for the photo shoot? You used to me getting bugs on my clothes when I lean on that thing half naked, right? Is that what you're trying to do? Trying to keep getting bug guts on me? I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You're on YouTube, by the way. Yeah, we're all making funny. I'm trying to think why you want me car down before I dyno tune.
Because it's got bugs on it.
Okay, I got it. Try to make it more aerodynamic.
Yes.
Yep. You take all the weight out of it too, so it's faster?
Ooh.
I'm just kidding. It has no effect on a dyno. It's a joke. I know.
I'm taking your shit and flipping it back at you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Like a monkey. All right. So, yeah. So, stock turbo. It's not going to be super impressive in that regard because it's still stock turbo stuff. But forged internals are nice in these, especially when you lower the compression ratio just a little bit, because it brings the knock tendency down dramatically. The best running FAs have just a slight drop in compression. Now, that being said, they can't make the same amount of power on the stock turbo with a slight drop in compression on ethanol. They make more on pump gas typically, but a little less on ethanol, because on ethanol, knock isn't an issue on the FA. So you're able to get everything out of the turbo, plus a little extra expansion that the higher compression ratio provides. But on pump gas, you make more power because it knocks less. You can be more aggressive on it, and they run better on pump gas. So it's an interesting dynamic there. When you get into much bigger, higher horsepower stuff, the lower boost helps. The higher boost is more. My words are hard all of a sudden. A bigger turbo, the lower compression helps with the higher boost and that kind of stuff. So you can make more power there, have more potential. Plus the rods are weak sauce on these anyways. So no, the screen is not grainy and it is not a satin clear coat. It is a wrap. Of course, the body guy in the channel is asking the question about the car's texture. I get it. It's dusty.
Yeah.
Do you-
Well, this is wet.
Do you live on a gravel road like I do?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I had to go on a backwards road trip yesterday. Get the gas level down.
So pump gas, I tell people, or pump gas for flex fuel,
Internet might end here.
ethanol tunes. They're not. They're looking at my face, my ugly ass face.
Good.
My eyes are extra sparkly today, though, so that makes it better. They can gaze longingly into my eyes. On flex fuel tune, I tell people to show up with less than a quarter tank of pump gas, so we can hash out the pump gas part of the tune first, and then bring 10 gallons of ethanol with them. That way, I say 10 because sometimes the pump gas tune is done really quick. And if the pump gas tune is done really quick, then I'm stuck with a bunch of gallons of pump gas in there. And throwing 5 gallons of ethanol doesn't get the concentration high enough to get the range that I want on it. So having 10 gallons is enough to get a high enough concentration for what I need. And yeah, it won't even be full E85 at that point, but I don't need it to be full E85, especially not an FA. But on the EG, I don't need full 85 anyways, because once you get over like 65 to 70, the differences are marginal. Better in the really high horsepower stuff, but you're not going to see shit on a stock turbo and that kind of stuff. Now, this being an FA, it should be kept under like 56, 53 anyways. Just for reliability's sake, and since the gains are minimal on the stock engine, stock turbo, anyway, so it's it might not even need all 10 gallons in the case because it is an FA. 5 might bring it right to 50-something%. Just depends how long the pump gas tune takes. But since it is forced pistons, a slight lower compression ratio, the tune usually goes quite a bit quicker on pump gas than it does otherwise. So that's a definite bonus. Excuse me, that was play. Ooh, peppers. That was good. All right, breakfast again. Dude, not always. Not always, but that one was for sure. Oh, do you guys like hot sauces? I don't know if you guys like hot sauces. Total shift because of just what I tasted. I had some hot sauce in my breakfast. If you've watched Hot Ones, Hot Ones is funny. I enjoy watching that, but they have some sauces that they have on the show that they actually make and they sell. So plug for Hot Ones. I love Los Calientes. The green is freaking amazing. It's a super good sauce. It's like right in the middle on the heat range, so you're not going to smoke yourself out by any means. But if you haven't had the Los Calientes green on something, you got to try it. I haven't had anything yet that it's bad on. It's awesome on chicken. I have it with my breakfast. I've had it on all kinds of things. It's really, really good. And also, I have a friend whose son makes hot sauces. Really, really good. I have no idea where the fuck to buy them yet, though. But I have a bottle of one of his sauces he calls Where There's Smoke, There's Fire. And it is really good. A little smoky, a little hint of vinegar because it is a vinegar-based sauce, I think. But it is absolutely phenomenal and good on a lot of things, too. So hopefully one day he brings those to market and sells it because it's really damn good. And they grow their own peppers and Trinidad scorpions and Caribbean habaneros and ghost peppers and that kind of stuff to make all their sauces, and they're just loaded with flavor and it's really good. Anyways, a couple tangents there before I tune this car. A couple plugs for some people, so all 12 of you now know. Jalapeno-based hot sauce on regular Doritos is bomb. You got Ranchos? Is that what they said? I can't say I've done that. I know that we've done some weird things on Doritos. I've been surprised at how good it was. I don't know if we've done that. I grew some jalapenos this year. The wife and I grew a bunch of jalapenos and pepperoncinis and that kind of stuff. And they were fucking hot. And I took some to my friend who does the hot sauces. And, he brought some Caribbean habaneros. And my jalapeno was hotter than his Caribbean habanero. But it was a hot freaking jalapeno. He ate it and he was like, "Oh my God, that's the hottest jalapeno I've ever had in my life." He was sitting there sweating. So it was a good time. It was funny. And I can't tell you what we did. I don't know if it's because it's really close to my septic system or what. I don't know what made the jalapenos so hot, but they are freaking smoky. Burn my face off. All right, put this one down. Put the straps here on the front. There we go. So on this dyno, front straps don't hold the car down. There's no point holding the car down. It's down the rollers. Back straps hold it down. The front straps don't hold it back or down. They just keep the nose pointing in the right direction. Hot weather grows hot peppers. Hey, that's probably what it was because it was a super hot summer. It was a really hot summer, 116 degrees and that kind of shit. It was the hottest summer I've ever had up here in North Idaho / Washington. So that would make sense. Cody, thank you for your wisdom and insight. Stock intercooler still too, huh?
Is that a question?
Oh, no, it was just a comment, just giving you a hard time. No, stock intercooler is really good, actually. It does really well.
Well, we're gonna do the top front mount.
When the time comes?
Yeah, that's gonna be the next performance mod is top front mount and then intake manifold. And hopefully the cams are done by then.
Yeah,
Just
right.
that together.
So that's something a lot of people have been wondering, like, where the hell are these damn cams, right? Well, cams are difficult on an engine like this because this guy right here, high pressure fuel pump, runs off of a lobe on the cam. So camshaft hardness is critical because that has a lot of force on it. That's why it's also close to a bearing. See the bearings right here. And so the lobe is close to the bearing so that the cam's not bending and stuff. And so the hardness of that lobe is critical, and it's hard to get right without going to like a billet cam or a really fancy process or metallurgy or something. So my guess, totally a guess, is that the reason the aftermarket cams are taking so long is because of two reasons. One, timing that cam. That cam has to be timed correctly. It's a triangle shaped lobe that drives that pump. It has to be timed correctly. And then also the hardness of that. There is a roller in there, but it has to be the right hardness or that thing will break quickly. So I have no idea if that's indeed what's taking so long, but if I had to guess, I would say it's probably related to that as to why they don't have a lot of cams for these available yet. My guess is the answer is going to be chill cast cams for the other three and then a billet cam for this spot right here. Do you like 3-port controllers for EJs? No. No, I don't. I like 3 ports for EJs. I don't see a point. Factory. If you have a factory turbo on an EJ, the factory solenoid works perfectly good. I don't ever see a gain. I see people claim gains, but I don't see ever an actual real gain to a 3-port on an EJ. It doesn't make sense. Now, again, on a VF, I should say. On a VF, no fucking point. Now, the FAs need a 3-port on their stock turbo. But on an EJ, on a VF, the factory boost controller is great. Obviously, if you put an external wastegate on there for some reason, just to be a fuckboy like this guy, or to handle boost creep,
Like
then you need to have a 3-port. So, where's my free tune, Dom? Says Paul B. I wish I knew what Paul was talking about this time. I know it's a joke we missed in the previous one, but my brain is slow today. So, lucky for you, I'm tuning your car on a slow brain day.
Hey.
Just kidding.
Every day's a slow brain day for me.
Well, you're
That's
blonde.
what I'm talking about. I'm blonde and I have a brain injury.
All right.
It's a double whammy.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh yeah.
that matters, right? What little you had was hurt.
I know.
And it's like I drive a VW Beetle, but it was T-boned. All right, let me get this phone down so I get these fans on. I'm gonna turn the screen around and put it up. There we go. Set that down. That didn't turn around. There it goes. All right. Where's my other fan?
I'm right here.
Yeah. We're big
Yeah,
fans.
just kidding.
Stop
Yeah,
it. Stop it, you two.
just stand here
You
and
make me
blow
blush.
Hey, Connor, crouch.
Crouch? She's
Crouch.
watching your picture. You're ugly today.
Connor, get down.
That's what I heard. You heard the dog or Connor? Yeah, good stuff, dude. I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's do it.
You're still in it, but you look cute in that picture, so I'll keep it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Please delete it.
That's sweet.
Super
That's
love.
sibling love right there. I was just gonna say the same thing too. My sister tells me I'm handsome sometimes too. She's a really good liar. It's because she has a vagina. That was a sexist comment. Made in the name of comedy. Let's see.
Have they made a joke about it being lady driven yet?
Lady driven? No. It's a FA. It should be lady driven.
I got you a new strap.
Oh, is it gonna work?
Yeah, that one doesn't have a big
Tear in it?
This one
Nice.
doesn't either.
So you have 2 straps? All right, I'm waiting on this guy until then. All right, I need to tinkle.
Hey, speaking of Tinkle, Kent wanted to know if he could talk to you.
Who?
Kent from IAG.
Sure.
That's like some.
Ask him if he's got his camera
I
yet.
think we're right. There you go. You have to turn your phone on. I didn't give you the one I would use.
That's good. I appreciate it. Hello. What's up, dude? Good, man. How you doing? I know it's been a while. Great. I'm over there. I'm over there. I'm somewhere where it's beautiful and I'm happy to be here. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. Well, also you can see through the water here. Yeah, dude. Yeah, cool. I figured I did something wrong and you were like calling to bitch me out about something. I'm just kidding. I'm good. No. I knew that you worked there, but I know you took over wholesale stuff. That's cool. Yeah. Thank God. Yeah, that's really what it was. Like, didn't know we wanted to deal with that at all because we just wanted to. Not at the moment yet. That's the next phase. The silicone oil for us will show up in a couple days, and then I'll put the 50 weight silicone oil in it and strap it in front of an engine and start doing testing on it. Yes, you guys do. I wish I could make some more. Dude, it's nuts. Yeah. Yeah, they do. The problem is that companies don't make fucking things regardless. Show my shirt off here. I'm on live stream now, so I'm going to see my shirt. My stormtrooper trying to pee in a urinal and missing. Sharpest aim in the galaxy right there. It's a funny shirt. What's weird about it though is that the blaster that they have is grayed out. Like the blaster on his hip is grayed out. The whole picture is very vibrant and done, and then this is grayed out. Like, is that like a subtle, like, you know, non-gun thing going on? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Anyways, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you're here. I'm also looking forward to chatting with you more, you know, and do cool things. I will. Absolutely. All right, buddy. Appreciate it, man. See you, good. Bye. Okay. That was Kent from IAG. He used to work at Turning Concepts. That's how he and I know each other. So he's a nice guy. He's cool. I like him. I'm glad he's IAG. I'm glad he's in the position that he's in now. He has definitely improved the quality of the service in the area that he works, even in just the last month and a half or so. It's been good. So that's awesome. Anyways, I'm going to use the bathroom. I'm tuning this car.
I'll leave it running while you go to the bathroom.
Stop it. It's starting to scream into that big head.
Use your brain. Have a good time.
All right. I just lost a quart of fluid there. Is the back door open to the dyno? Not yet. I gotta get the back door open. We have an air plenum that I built when Tier 1 first into this spot. The air plenum is has two 220 volt, I think actually 208 volt fans in it. Oh, he's dead. You okay down there? What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh. He did not, Cody. He did not. They want stuff from you. Oh, that's right. That's right. There we go. Woo. Daylight. All right, so I gotta open this door here. I showed you guys the plenum. This is the lockpicking lawyer, and today I'm going to review the Schlage lock located on the. All right, I could probably pick this lock in fucking 20 seconds. Lockpicking lawyer, you do it in 5. Anyway, so this is the plenum. I basically say, you know what, guys, we need to get the air through the dyno cell, so we use the back door, like so. And then, I got this little piece here to help direct the air around the corner. Made a huge difference, actually. The difference was pretty dramatic. And I got 2 fans in this dyno cell. And it's this bare piece of wood. That's actually something broke in. We had a break in here. they broke in and busted all the wood out of the plenum. So that was fun. But there you go. There's 2 fans. Those guys move air from the dyno cell. Did you cut your nails? Every fucking week. Every week. Oops. That was dumb. I think I even did my toenails too this week with different cutters, not the same ones because that's gross. Hey, little spider. What's up, little guy? Hi, Tanner.
Hi.
How you doing?
What are we doing?
Good. That's Tanner. I like Tanner. That's Tanner. I like Tanner. What's that?
Car's not ready to be strapped in.
Okay.
Working on modifying and have no strap to fit.
That's Kevin. I like Kevin. Kevin doesn't like me though. That's Lane over there. I like Lane. Lane has no choice. That's Chase.
I can't tell you what I was gonna say. I was gonna talk shit on people, but you're online again.
Yeah, that's right. I wish you could tune my 15 FXT, but I moved to California. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be able to help you anyways with the California gas. That stuff sucks. You know, if you were on 93 or something, oh man, just grab the doorknob that Chase grabbed. I'm gonna get fucking sick now. God damn it. All right. Chase has got fucking COVID. That's why he's wearing a mask. He got sick. Flex fuel. Somebody guys here. Yeah, and you guys have flex fuel everywhere out there. So you guys can do lots of stuff out there. Oh, missed a phone call. Who called me? Let's see. Missed phone call. From Lane and David. Oh. Well, I was inside the fucking car. My phone was in the shop. What if you heard it ringing when you called me? What's the drive?
There you go.
What's up, bud?
Ravnet's car, what do we need to do on it
For what?
to finish it so the pressure sensor works?
Oh, we gotta run it to the Rio 2 somehow. Just gotta find a wiring diagram and see which one is the 5-volt signal.
Can I hook a voltmeter to it?
I don't know, honestly, because I don't know what the backside of the circuit is of the ECU. I don't think it's pull up, so I don't think you could hook one to it. If it was a pull up signal, then it would have 5 volts on it, but then you would know if that was the signal 5 volts or if that was the 5-volt sensor supply.
We need the signal.
So, say what?
We need the signal and the sensor.
We need the signal because we're gonna use the sensor supply from the TGV to power it. So use the sensor supply for the TGV power it and a ground, and then you run the signal to the Rio 2 input for that. It's this not this car here, but another car. It's got flex fuel on it with fuel pressure monitoring. But he's also got his TGVs and stuff. So it's you can technically steal both TGV signals and still have them operate, but I don't like to do that. It's not a really good way to do it. Because if there is an issue with one, at least you should be able to know if there's an issue with one. And the ECU should get feedback so that routine is working correctly. If you're going to use them, they should get the feedback for that. So we use the COBS feature that allows us to hijack one signal and then copy it to the other side and then still have completely functioning TGVs, which doesn't affect emissions because they're there and they're working. So everything still functions normally. Now, if I hijack both signals, then the system could probably work normally, but we wouldn't know. And that, I think, is tough. So anyways, so the idea is that we can go to the Rio 2 sensor and use that 5-volt input to see what the fuel pressure is. But
You got 2 fresh straps and neither are broken. And they're not 75 feet long.
nice, but they're both the fucking double ring hooks.
Yeah, but I made them fit nice.
Oh, you made them skinny? Nice.
I wore out the holes in the hooks and the closet thing. That thing's super nice, just a little bit.
Nice. That'd be great.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it does make them easier to get in the car when there's tight clearance through like the fucking wheel and then shit around like a trailer arm or whatever. But you know, better than nothing. That definitely will help. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'd rather have you down here for now until we can find
Yeah.
a single hook. Because this,
Let's see. Let's show the internet how good this strap was. This strap was great. I mean, we were at like 8%. Well, that's more than that.
it's like 35.
Yeah, that's maybe. Yeah, that's pretty good.
500 horse more like
Yeah.
way.
I mean, what's the other one? The other one's bad too, right?
I think I threw that one away already.
Oh. Is that one right there?
Right in the dumpster.
Right there.
Is it this one?
Yeah, there it is. You see it on the ground. That
It
one too. That one's not as bad.
was like 50.
I mean,
it's separating.
I mean, they're 10,000 pound use, right? And we're not using 10,000 pounds to hold the car on the dyno. Let's just be realistic about that. But yeah, it's still not good by any stretch. How's my battery doing on this phone? This phone usually does really shitty on the battery. Let's see where we at. Battery saver is on. Well, thank you. I'm glad. But reconnecting. So, anyways, Matt, the guy about the Forester, he used to live here. So his car was here at the same time yours was. He had the silver coupe RS that we did the twin scroll setup on. So he knows all about me. Hey, my tune. Oh, we need to get a fan. Where was that at? Oh, okay. Oh, you weren't okay. So I look at your face. I'm like, well, I still have a top mount. I got to cool it. This has been my tire storage area. I got to fix that. Got to fix that. I think it's almost time to do a cleanup. We've got too much shit everywhere. I say we. I mean, like we, because I have my shit here, but it's up to them. Did he fix it? I don't know what you're asking about at the moment, so you answer that. He drives it. If we're talking about the same thing. Oh, the seat's close. That chick's got long legs, but she sure puts her seat close.
This is one important to interrupt your feed with.
Okay. I brought food for myself. I had leftovers.
What'd you bring?
Pizza.
You didn't bring us any?
It doesn't have that many leftovers. I would need a whole pizza for you if I brought leftovers.
Only like 60 slices.
Okay, so half a large. I'm sorry. Teresa ate her half already. Actually, you know what? She puts down some fucking pizza. She eats more pizza than I do usually. This was the one time she actually, was easy on the pizza.
Was it your homemade pizza?
No.
Was it West Side pizza?
Yes.
That's still good.
Yeah, West Side's still good. Yeah.
There's a West Side Coeur d'Alene now.
I heard that. Is it any good?
Right by Texas Roadhouse.
Is it any good? Oh, okay.
It's on the guys who do that sometime.
They fucked my pizza up, so I got a free pizza next time.
Could be worse thing.
I know, right? They're like, you want us to remake it right now? I was like, no, I already ate it. They called like 20 minutes after they delivered it, and they're like, do you want us to remake it? I'm like, nope, I'm already full. I could have had a whole leftover piece. You're right, but I wouldn't do that. I'm fat enough. Usually front side. Yeah. All right. I forgot my goddamn cable. Mother beach. It's under the car. It's under the bag. Yeah, she drove around extra to make sure that I got. Good. What time is it? It's almost 1? It's almost 1?
Yeah.
Damn it. Is he a flex fuel tune too? Oh, thank God. Gotcha.
Well, he need rails too then. Oh, he did rails. He did rails, didn't he? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he couldn't do it anyway. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So, unfortunately, this is the 1030 tune, and it's 1240 right now. So, rushgears.com. Those guys are assholes. I try to get some gears made by those guys. They're just dicks. They're just rude. This guy wants to tune on his Focus ST. 2 miles per gallon and 1 per power. I hate that. I hate that somewhere along the lines, somebody has convinced people that there's a such thing as an economy tune. The only thing that needs an economy tune is your right foot. A lot of ECUs, you can't program to run leaner than stoic. Some of you can, but a lot of you can't. Like, leanest they'll go is 1. So if someone needs a economy tune, I'm like, it's already programmed to run stoic. What do you want me to do? You know, take all the boost out of it? Just don't use your right foot. That's the simple answer. You don't use your right foot, no issues. So I hate getting emails for economy tunes because it's not really a thing. Now, you can have tunes that give you poor economy because somebody zeroed out every delay and made it pop and open so damn fast that small changes in throttle position will start dumping fuel in the engine and target a way richer AFR. That can happen, but that's just a bad tune. You know, like Subaru gets it right. Subaru calls it requested torque. When you put your foot down to a certain amount, you get a requested torque value. And that's, if you think that's what you're doing, you're asking the engine to produce more torque so that you can go faster than you currently are. And the more you give it, the faster, the higher the rate you want, right? So, that's the wrong button. So if you want to use less fuel, request less torque. That's just the best way to do it. Alright, so got to fix a couple check engine lights really quick. Just shoot a couple mods here right before the tune. So got to make it less angry. So we'll do that first. I'm going to flash that, and then, actually before I flash that, I'm going to check the learning trim. She's been on a break-in tune for a week or 2 now, so I want to find out what those trims are. Is my AF correction way out of whack because there's an issue with the intake? Is there a ton of learned ignition advance or retard or what? So that's the first thing I want to check since she's been driving around. But judging by the fact that everything reads zeros, I'm guessing that they pulled the negative battery when they worked on this morning, so I don't have anything to look at. I mean, I'm good, but I ain't that good. I'm not good enough to make it all zeros. Yeah, it's all zeros. All right, so that won't do shit. All right, so we're gonna flash this. Oh, you know what? Actually, before I do that, here's a little tip. I tell people the first time they tune an FA, tell them stop, close the laptop,
pick a different profession. Just kidding. Uh, people try and tune the car for the open and closed loop or open and closed TGVs, whether it be they're trying to get a threshold better or they change the VE drastically, or they do a TGV delete or something totally illegal like that. The map's in there for you already. Like Subaru did all the research that you needed. So if let's say you did a TGV delete on it, you can just copy your TGV open shit to the TGV close shit, and then you're already super close. Let me tell people that since I don't know, forever, and it became a mantra on NASIOC for a lot of people that like in the tuning discussions. They're like, you already have open loop or TGV open maps in there, put them in there in the closed and start from there. So if you haven't heard that yet, that's something for you. If you're going to tune an FA and you did delete for some reason, copy the open to the closed, because that's what you're doing. You're going to have open now all the time. So you no longer need the closed loop or the closed TGV option. You just go open to closed. And then you'll see an immediate improvement in throttle response, acceleration off the line, just quality all around and everything. So that's something to think about. Don't forget that Subaru has $1 million budgets, right? They have so much money from a big company like that. They put a ton of work and research into producing something that's efficient, effective, whatever. And so don't just grab some cells and click delete. Learn what you can. Learn what you can from it. That's what I'm saying. They have teams of people way smarter than you, most likely smarter than me. Yeah, smarter than all of us. They got teams of people smarter than all of us. More degrees, more time, more exposure, more experience. Plus, like I said, teams of people. 50 people that work in engine management doing all that shit. 50 might be low. That's just a guess. But they have teams of people that do this, that work on things. And a team will work on just one portion of it. A team will work on just cold start. Another team will work on EGR. Another team will work on, various parts of it, which sometimes can cause problems. Sometimes those two strategies, when they come together, don't necessarily come together super well. And that happens. Usually they catch that kind of stuff in testing. But for the most part, flex, fuel, KB. Anyway, so they got these budgets, they have people, they got so much more, than any tuner here in the U.S., any single tuner, calibrator, would ever have. So don't discount the knowledge that's located inside the factory tune. There are things you can learn about the engine. An example would be on the Chevys, the charge temp compensation tables, where they bias charge temp based on coolant temperature, right? That is extremely valuable in understanding how much the charge temperature changes with coolant temperature and load. And in the case of Chevy, they use it based on, I think they use it as a mass airflow. I forget if it's mass airflow or cylinder. I think it's mass airflow. And the bias, you can see go whoop. So at low mass airflows, the charge temperature is very close to coolant temp. And at high airflows, the charge temperature is close to intake air temp. And it blends in between that. You can look at the Chevy map and Ford's maps and people's maps and look at them from the factory and learn about that car a lot and learn about engine management. So don't just ignore what's in there. Definitely utilize that
to increase your level of knowledge and learn more about that specific platform. They did things on purpose. Most of them are emissions related, but a lot of them are for just plain old simple, this is how this engine flows. This is how this engine behaves in this weather. This is how this engine, so don't discount that. Don't think that every car needs to have a 165-degree thermostat in it. You do that to an LS, you increase the wear on the engine like 25% or something ridiculous like that. There's a thing that Chevy put out where they showed how much more wear happens on the engine with that. So this phone's about to die, which is good actually, because I think I want to change my method of capture to my laptop anyway. So when that phone croaks, then I'll do that, unless I'm having a hard time with this thing and I'm getting angry. In the meantime, though, I'm just trying to set this thing up for the initial parameters that I need before we start driving it, to compensate for the mods it has in it, the 3-port and all that stuff, and get it ready. So it's been a little boring right now. I apologize. Shit, I need Tanner. Okay, this phone's taking the shit. So I'll be back in a few minutes. We'll take care of some stuff really quick, and then I'll come back and start tuning this car for everybody. Thanks for hanging out for those that did. See you, James.